Hello. Hi, my name is Omobola Adekola. I am a lawyer and an international trade advisor. So I'm here to speak to you about the AfCFTA and young business owner in Nigeria. So if you're a young business owner, if you're a student, you're a youth, or you're an entrepreneur about to start a business, I'm here to talk to you about unlocking the AfCFTA opportunities for emerging entrepreneurs in Nigeria. So we're going to be looking at the AfCFTA. I'm sure a lot of you have been hearing about this, or African Continental Free Trade, and you've been wondering what it is about. So I'm going to speak to you about it. And after the AfCFTA, then we'll look into requirements for running a business in Nigeria. So for university students, your youth business, or you're about to start your business, please join me on this ride and let's just go right into it. So what's the African Continental Free Trade Area? What does it mean? What is it about? That's what we're going to be looking at for this bit of the course. Then after the AfCFTA, then we move into legal requirements for running a business in Nigeria. So I already introduced myself earlier. I'm Omobola Adekola. I'm the managing partner of Campion and Burley Solicitors. We also have a sister firm, the TWB Trade Advisory Limited, that handles the international trade bit of the firm, and that's our sister company. And I also host, I have a podcast. That's the Trading Without Borders podcast that is focused on the African Continental Free Trade Area. You can check that out on Anchor, Spotify, or Google Podcast. And you can also find me on Instagram at Legal Business, where I also share information in respect of legal requirement of running a business in Nigeria. I also put information out on the African Continental Free Trade Area. So let's just go right and let's move. So what's the FTA? So this is the introduction. The AfCFTA, as a lot of us have been hearing, is a project of the African Union. It's one of the flagship projects. On the 21st of May of March 2018, the African Continental Free Trade Agreement was signed in Kigali, Rwanda at the 10th Extraordinary Summit of the AU. And the agreement became effective on 30th of May 2019. So as of today, we have about 54 African countries that have signed the agreement. And out of the 54, 43 have ratified it. That means they've deposited their instrument of ratification to the African Continental Free Trade Area. So what's the purpose of the AfCFTA? The purpose of the AfCFTA is basically to promote intra-African trade. And yes, there's data to support that. The volume of trade between Africans is lower compared to trade between Africans and non-African nations. So that is what the AfCFTA is seeking to do. AfCFTA wants to close that gap and get more Africans involved in trade, to trade with each other. So I'll just share a data. In 2017, there was the volume of intra-African trade, that's the trade between African countries, increased by 1% compared to the 2022 22% trade increase between African countries and non-African countries. So the FCFTA is here to resolve that, to close that gap, to get Africans to trade with each other. But of course, before you do that, there are a lot of issues that need to be addressed for you to be able to trade, because there are issues, there are things, there are barriers that are hindering that trading amongst Africans. And of course, that is what the AfCFTA is here to address, to get more Africans to trade with each other, and to also help the African economy to boost, to promote trade. That is what the. So before we go into AfCFTA proper, let's just look at what a free trade area is. If you know from the African Continental Free Trade Area. So let me just, for the benefit of those that may not be aware of what a free trade area is, let me just share that. So a free trade area is a region where a group of countries, like, they've signed a trade agreement to lower or remove barriers, and in order to promote trade in goods and services amongst themselves. So what it is that the region, let's sign an agreement, let's remove or reduce the barriers that is hindering us, or that can hinder us from trading amongst ourselves. So that is what a free trade area is. So the African Continental Free Trade Agreement is essentially an agreement among African countries to encourage cross-border trade in the continent and to minimize or remove the obstacles that are hindering the trade. So, and the trade relations between the African countries is going to be governed by the AfCFTA agreement. So, let's get more Africans to trade with each other. There's research has been shown that to get to move, travel, I'm sure some of us are aware, to get even air tickets to travel to other Africans from your own country, it's a bit pricey to rather a lot more compared to traveling and air tickets outside of the country. So that is what it is. Those are some of the things the AfCFTA is here to address, to get to remove obstacles or barriers that is hindering Africans from trading with each other. Let's also get Africans to come and trade with instead of only trading with non-African countries. So let's get Africans to trade with each other. Let's remove whatever, let's reduce as much as possible or remove the ones that can be removed, the barriers that are hindering Africans from trading with each other. And you have the trade agreements will guide that relations. So what are barriers? What are some of the barriers that can hinder to some barriers are called tariff and non-tariff barriers. Tariff barriers are examples like government quotas or duties. Is there a way that we can remove quotas or duties or reduce in respect of goods or products? And non-tariff barriers such as custom clearance, custom delays, and costs. How do we ensure that goods can quickly be cleared as fast as possible so that people can move their or sellers or suppliers or businesses can move their product out to take to the market? What are ways that we can look to ensure the quick clearance? Look at, I mean, are we going to continue with manual that could take days for goods to be cleared? I'm sure if some of what I have an idea of my papa port that here that we want to clear some and it takes days. Or do we have digital opportunities like digital infrastructure to clear goods so that things are, those are the sort of things that you're looking at non-tariff barrier. Are there also measures? We are looking at standardization, like measures. What does the country require? Like if you want to bring goods into our country, what are the things that you need to do? What are the measures put down? Is it unnecessarily difficult or unnecessarily restrictive that is hindering trading with each other? So those are the things you are looking at. Those are some of the things you are looking at. So what are the prospects of the AfCFTA? It's stated that the AfCFTA is developed to be the largest free trade area in the world because it comprises of 54 African countries. And there are other free trade areas. We have the North American Free Trade Agreement, that's for North America, like Canada and the Western. There are also some other, but the AfCFTA is going to be the largest by the time its implementation begins. Then, of course, 90% tariff reduction on goods traded. Just like I said, government quotas of tariffs. By the time those are taken out, some of it are reduced on goods, then goods that, because you know, if tariff is high, it might cost goods to be a lot more expensive because that has to be factored in the cost of the goods. And of course, if it's more expensive, like, you know, people might like, if I can get it at a less price outside, why don't you just do that? So we are looking at taking out some of the tariff, like reducing it. That's what is projected. Then you can also imagine you have access to a market of 1.2 billion Africans. You can imagine you being able to sell your goods, sell your products to other African countries easily when the barriers are removed or reduced. Apart from Nigeria, you can easily sell to buyers in Ghana, to buyers in South Africa, to buyers in Madagascar, to buyers in Egypt. Or you can get things from sellers in all those countries, Zimbabwe, Lesotho, and you know, all the, like, that's what it means then. So it is also an opportunity for African individuals. That's why I said if you're a young entrepreneur, you're a student, you're looking at going into entrepreneurship, these are opportunities that are open up to you to be able to, you can access the market of all the member countries of the AfCFTA to provide your goods and services, and also as well as facilitation of investment. If you want to look at, of course, you're praying for your business to grow. Later, you want to invest in another country. This is another African country. These are opportunities that the AfCFTA opens up. And so with AfCFTA, you can sell your product and offer services to a larger market. within the AfCFTA member countries. So I've stated there are Kenya, Ghana, South Africa, Egypt, Nigeria, Lesotho. That is what that's the opportunity that we have. So what are the opportunities for MSMEs? Like just like I discussed earlier, you have access to wider or larger African markets. Yes, with all the, for you be able to access the markets of the other African countries. Job creation, of course. If you want to sell to a market because you also want to you need your business, that means you're going to have to build capacity to grow your business. You know, selling to just your country alone is another ballgame entirely to selling to outside. So that means you're more, you're probably looking at more operation lines to be open, more business lines to be open, expanding your business. So you need to bring in more people. So there's an opportunity to create more jobs in the African continent. Then what does this amount to? Increase profit. If you're able to sell to others outside of your national, okay, so you are talking Nigeria, then that means more profit for your business, more profit for you and access to whatever other countries that you're interested in selling to. So you have more profit from selling to all those other countries outside of just selling within Nigeria alone. That's what. Then you have opportunity to also collaborate. Why this? Because selling outside, you might need to either produce more products, and you know that's a if you don't have the capacity as a small business owner, you might have to partner with another business either in the country or outside, or you're looking at, okay, can I partner with other business owners outside of Nigeria so that we can collaborate in providing these goods and services within Nigeria, unless you want to collaborate with somebody in Kenya. And also in Kenya, you have a Kenya partner and you sell, you take the goods there, and this the one handles the Kenya, the part of it. And you people, you know, sharing of profit, you know, all these are the opportunities that the AfCFTA opens up for you as a business owner. And you know, of course, now consumers have access to a larger market now, so they have a choice. So you are also looking at, am I ensuring that I'm meeting properly, producing my the right quality, I'm meeting standard, I'm meeting legal requirements of government, what are the policies in respect, what do they require for me to sell in another country? Those are the things you are looking at, so that, you know, consumers can decide that, oh, I don't want to buy, I can as well buy from another seller outside of Nigeria. So you need to know, to get them, like to get them interested. So those are the things you are considering and you are looking at. And so we will